good morning, and happy Tuesday. Hello there, twin. It is probably Wednesday where you are, but thank you for coming in. This is going to be an extremely brief live, and as you could tell by the thumbnail, it is entitled Baltimore Bridge Collapse. And I have always mentioned I am from the DMV, so this is quite a bit of sad and breaking news. Many of us Washingtonians, and that includes the areas of the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. That is where the DMV acronym comes in, may have woken to this story of the Key Bridge in Baltimore collapsing. So the latest update, which was around 10:37, it is now 10:51 a.m. A massive search effort was underway for 6 construction workers who were on the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore when it was struck by a large cargo vessel and collapsed in the Patapsco River, shutting down, I repeat, shutting down a critical artery for East Coast shipping. Now, Baltimore, within the last year or so, has had its share of problems and issues as far as road and bridge. But this, I think, has been by far the worst. According to the Baltimore City Fire Department Chief James Wallace, in a news conference about 1:30 a.m., a vessel leaving the port of Baltimore struck the Key Bridge, causing it to collapse in seconds. Again, within seconds, the bridge collapsed, and footage shows the cargo ship go into one of the columns before the bridge snapped and tumbled into the water and on top of the ship, where flames and smoke could be seen rising in the night sky. Several vehicles were on the bridge at the time of impact and were plunged into the river. There were also multiple contractors, according to the report. And again, I implore you all to do your independent research. And this was done in the initial hours of the search. One was unharmed, and the other remains in very serious condition. So thoughts and prayers out to everyone impacted by this horrible accident. The crew on the ship, when it collided with the bridge, remains on the vessel, which needs to be assessed for damage before rescuers can board it, according to Chief Wallace. Governor Wes Moore said in a news conference that the preliminary investigations indicate this was an accident and not, and I repeat, and not an intentional act of terror. Governor Wes Moore did not provide, as of yet, any further details. Let me present this quickly. And it is the Fair Use Act disclaimer, which I always place up. And I'm going to attempt to share the screen real quick, just a little, to show some background. And this is live coverage. And again, this is available throughout the internet because this is a huge story.
Thank you.
Sure.
Standing by, I believe we have Deb Weiner has been out there all morning. Kate made a good point, just talking about, Dawn's early light and being able to see from Fort McHenry that view. I mean, it's a beautiful view.
Profoundly gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
I was struck by the profundity, if you will, of what Kate said. And I was also thinking about this, that it was only last week when it was the 1-year anniversary of that terrible accident on I-695 and the loss of that road crew. And here we are,
more road crew.
Another road crew and their families just devastated by the unknown at this point and just waiting for information. So I was really thinking about that we just marked that anniversary.
Now, you just heard the news reporter speak on the anniversary, and I spoke at the top of the broadcast, the continued issues that Baltimore, as far as the infrastructure is concerned, and it concerns to be, I don't want to say routine, but there are definite issues as it relates to Baltimore's infrastructure, the roads, and especially the bridges. I enjoy driving to the fullest. However, I will mention that going over the Bay Bridge, which is 50, and entering Baltimore, and the views, in my opinion, are spectacular. But being human and feeling just the, how shall I say, just the feeling of uncertainty, it doesn't feel stable going over those bridges. And then when you have to sit in unexpected traffic, it's just an eerie feeling. And you can see road crews out at night who are there for the sheer purposes of construction to make the drive more safe and secure. To hear a story such as this is devastating. I'm going to play a little bit more, but you get the gist of it. So I ask everyone that is in the live or will catch the replay to please keep your thoughts and prayers for those impacted, those that were on the road, those workers, and not only that, the ones that people seem to forget about, and that's the first responders, because you don't know what it is they see when they're called in and what they see when they go home. Let's continue.
Baltimore County Executive John Olszewski said this, as we all are saying, is just absolutely devastating. Now, we've talked a lot about, there's so many arteries to this story, right? We've talked a lot about the commerce and the port. And the port has issued a statement saying the port is not closed. Right? They're continuing to do that work at the port, but in terms of ships traversing the area, that is currently on hold. But the work of the port, according to a statement from them, continues. We were just talking about, the emotion of all this. We're really so in that early stage that's still just shock and pain. And you could really hear that from leaders at the scene there, including, as we had indicated, Governor Wes Moore. We have another comment from him as he was addressing the situation.
Now, for many of you who are not familiar with the Maryland area, Wes Moore is the governor, and I believe they're going to show a small clip.
And speaking to the victims and their families. Let's take a listen.
Of this tragedy and their loved ones. All of our hearts are broken. We feel your loss. We're thinking of you. And we will always be thinking of you. We pray for the construction workers who are on the Key Bridge, and we pray for everyone who has been touched by this tragedy and their families and all of their loved ones. But Maryland, we will get through this. Because that is the Maryland spirit, and that's what Maryland is made of. We are Maryland tough, and we are Baltimore strong. So in the face of heartbreak, we come together. We embrace one another, and we come back strong. That's what we've always done. That's what we'll continue to do. And that's what we're going to get done together.
Okay, that was a short snippet of the statement given by Governor Wes Moore. So again, that is the breaking news coming out of Baltimore, Maryland. Oh my goodness, I didn't see these comments. I'm sorry, and you have to excuse me. I am still recovering. Hold on. Hi there, John Long. How are you? Good morning, Blackfire Edits. Blackfire, yes, there was, unfortunately. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Maryland or the Baltimore area. That short that you spoke of, that was completely on the other side of Maryland, Southern Maryland, to be exact. And once you get to where I was, you can't go any further unless you're in that water. So beautiful as it is, they're dangerous. And as I mentioned, the infrastructure is horrible. And when you get stuck on those bridges, as I have, it always caused me to be a little bit nervous because you could feel just some shaking there. The same thing with the Bay Bridge, which is Route 50. So you just have to be careful. And as I've said, I've seen late at night many construction workers, and my heart goes out to them who are working tirelessly to help with the safety and the infrastructure of these areas. And humans, for whatever reasons, they're involved in accidents. Sometimes these accidents can be minor. Others, such as this very accident, can be major. Hi there, Nore Vlog. Hi there, Leonia. How are you? So that is the breaking story. Yes, Blackfire. And it is a search and rescue effort at this time. I do not know, and that is why I implore folks to do their research, if there have been any casualties. I pray not, but I do not know at this time. But it is extremely, extremely important that we all be cognizant and aware that such accidents can occur. And as you heard Governor Wes Moore speak, Maryland strong, Baltimore strong, and he also sent out a plea to keep your hearts and thoughts out to the victims and their families. That is one of the things I myself always been frightened of, is to have a loved one in those positions, because you never know if that's the last time you see them when they leave out. And that's for anybody who is essential, non-essential. It could be anyone. And I saw a couple other folks come in there. Hi there, Tiago. How are you? On this Tuesday. Everyone is fellowshipping, which is wonderful. So that is the breaking news from out of Baltimore, Maryland. And for those of you just getting in, the Baltimore Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, collapses, and rescuers search. And I'm not sure if you're still here, Black, but rescuers search for people in water. Again, briefly, Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, which is my hometown, and not too far away, collapsed after being hit by a freight about 1:30 a.m. this morning, sending at least eight people from a construction crew in the water. The container ship, traveling at a relatively rapid speed of about 8 knots, and these are legal terms and terms that are well known by those who navigate the waterways. I am not one of those, so I don't know the difference between 8 knots, 9 knots, but those of you out on boats would know that. Lost power in moments before it struck the bridge. And that's according to Governor Wes Moore, who spoke briefly at a news conference, which I showed briefly during the video. Hi there, LSB Vlog. How are you? Thank you all who took the time in a moment to drop in really quickly. Please make sure you hit the thumbs up, and if you would like, you may share this. And again, which is important, because many of us, including myself, tend to speculate. But Wes Moore, again, the governor of Baltimore, indicated that This was an accident. Hi, Sis Joy. How are you? Welcome. Stated that this was an accident, and at present, there is no evidence of a terrorist attack. I repeat, according to Governor Wes Moore, there is no evidence of a terrorist attack. It has been labeled as an accident. And also, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott announced that the city has announced and deployed its emergency operations plan. Hey there, Edna, how are you? I had not planned on returning, but because this is in my neck of the woods, I found it important to speak about. Additionally, cold and murky waters made rescue conditions difficult overnight. So again, this is horrible when you think about those. And according to the Washington Post, and again, do your research, you can go to the Washington Post, who stated that up to 20 people, and this has not been confirmed, so keep in mind that, but a number that has been thrown out is 20 people could be in the water. They're not saying for sure, but they're saying 20 people could. And according to the Washington Post and Kevin Cartwright, the Baltimore Fire Department's communication director, stated that the description could be akin to a mass casualty incident. As I said, I have yet to see anything that indicates there has been, but there are so many stories out here and more information coming in. Vessel traffic into and out of the port of Baltimore was suspended until further notice, according to the Maryland Transportation Authority. And at that time, 695 had been closed in both directions. One eerily fact is ship owner involved in at least three, you have to use my words carefully, three, I'll just say, tragic events that resulted in those no longer here has occurred in recent years, according to records. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, Edna. Hopefully you can reach out to a tech team to get that fixed or resolved. And again, thank you, Leonia. Good morning, Six Bows. How are you? And Six Bows says, I don't think it was an accident. I think it was intentional. Or country never admits it. I think a lot of people may actually agree with you. However, powers that be, when we have press conferences and news conferences, because we already know, well, we should know about fear mongering, and because so many people travel that bridge. I mean, it's really the lifeline if you think about it, as far as cargo is concerned. You don't want fears and more anxiety to rise. But thank you for that comment that you just left. And Edna says, I don't know what to do to get it back. I'm not really sure. I'm not a techie person, Miss Edna, but I would think there should be a contact page or a help page or number or customer support you can contact to let them know that your social media has been hacked. And Six Bow says, okay, no evidence. Exactly, that is what Governor Wes Moore stated, and it's in that short video of his press conference, and it's also quoted that there is no evidence of an intentional attack, rather an accident. I'm not sure if that statement was in response to a question or if he took it upon himself to let the citizens and those who are concerned feel more at ease that it was an accident, a horrible accident. And again, I'm not sure about what knots mean as far as it relates to navigating these waters, but it appears that the person in that transportation vehicle, if you will, was going at a rapid rate of speed, which allegedly was the cause of this horrific accident. So that is my quick live. Thank you to everyone that came in, and thank you in advance to those who will catch the replay. As I always say, take nothing. Believe me when I say take nothing for granted. And I say that not to cause fear into anyone, but you just don't know. You walk out the door doing your usual, regular, routine day, and something horrific like this happens. As I said, I love when I'm strong enough to drive because I love the scenery. I love nature, but what I do not like, and it's something that I can't escape, and many people, depending upon where you are, can escape, is traffic and the selfishness people display when they're on the roads. Some people won't let you over. Some people still will have their cell phones up to their face, looking down, not paying attention to what they're doing. And I'm not even going to speak about the people on the ATVs and the motorcycles They've gone plumb wild already. So be cognizant when you're out on the roads. Where I was back home over the weekend, visiting my mom's resting place, it is still quite serene and very peaceful. Not a lot of traffic. It's far away from basic places in large cities, but country life, to me, that's what I pray for. Getting back to the country, having all what I need just in case. But everyone has to be careful. You too, Black. You as well. Everyone, enjoy your day. And as I always say, be safe, be well, and be healthier. Take care, and thank you.